In this video, we are going to deploy the MinIO object storage on Kubernetes. So first we need to understand what is MinIO. So MinIO is basically an object storage solution. So basically they have the distributed object storage facility also there. So the single word like this is the object storage solution, which is basically like AWS S3 storage. Okay, so they are written in Go language and designed for your private cloud infrastructure. Okay, so basically when you're deploying in the private cloud on your object storage, you have the requirement of object storage, you can use MinIO, which is works similarly AWS S3. Okay, so when you have object storage requirement, like you need to store the photos, videos and the container image, so that time you can use this object storage. And most important thing is that AWS is the MinIO is compatible with S3 API. Okay, so same whatever command you used for to access the AWS object storage, that the S3, the same command you can use to access the MinIO objects. Okay, so this is the one advantage. And coming to the architecture, so MinIO have two components. One is MinIO server and MinIO client. This is basically used for the CLI access, and you can use this as for the console access. Okay, and they have two different ports. 9001 is used to access the MinIO console, that is the UI, and 9000 is used to access the MinIO client. Okay, from the command line you can connect to your server, or if you are using some of the API like Java MinIO API, that time you can use this port. Okay, so we can directly jump to our demo. So I have single node Kubernetes cluster, get node. Yeah, so we are going to implement MinIO S3 object storage using TLS certificate. Okay, to make it secure using HTTPS support. Okay, so for that I have some created some steps. You can follow these steps. MinIO S3 TLS, which is available in my Git repo. These are the steps we need to follow. So first thing is that we need to create our certificate. Okay, since we are not using any like purchase any certificate, so we are go through this self-signed certificate. Okay, so before that let me create this self-signed certificate. It has some parameter. Most important thing is that the CN name you need to put your whatever the Ingress host name. Okay, so because we are hosted this using the Metal LB Ingress. Okay, I mean the Nginx Ingress. Okay, so that's why this part is important. For me, I am taking MinIO example as the host name of this Ingress. So, and the certificate name is like that. Basically two things is required, one key and cert file. Okay, so we can directly go ahead and apply this one. You can customize this one accordingly your requirement. I put this one Mumbai and this certificate name. Okay, just hit enter. Now it should create one certificate ls-l in your local directory where it is executed. The certificate name should be like this, self something. Now we can see two certificate as created. Okay, I mean one certificate, one key file. Okay, whatever you put here, the same thing. Okay, now we can use these two things to create the TLS certificate in Kubernetes. Okay, so let me go ahead to create that file. This is the command, create secret TLS. Okay, whatever namespace you want to deploy your application, I want to deploy in dev namespace. Before that let me check k-n get dev getter. Let me check if nothing is there in that namespace. Okay, so I'm going to create the certificate, I mean the secret in that namespace. So you can use this command. The command is very simple. You reference your key file what has been generated here and this cert file, okay, whatever they generated here, and you want to deploy it to dev namespace, and the secret name, the Kubernetes secret name I want to use, like, because we are going with the UI part, okay. In the next video we will cover the CLI part, so that's why I skipped that part, only UI, okay. Let me hit enter. So now you can see in the namespace get secret, one secret is created just now. Let me go ahead to deploy my application, okay. So for this MinIO deployment, I need one persistent volume where the MinIO will store your all the data, okay. So that's why I need to create this PVC. Let me open this file, MinIO PVC, this manifest file. In this manifest file, you need to put the PVC name and you need to put the storage class name, okay. So and I initially put the 1 GB as the storage requirement, so you can check in the get sc. I have already one storage class available, so I can use that one for this. This is the local pathway storage I already covered in the previous video, Rancher. So here I am going to create this file, and after that I need to create this deployment, MinIO deployment. This file is very simple file. You can see I defined one deployment, and deployment name is MinIO, and come to this container section. So in the container I put the container name, and the most important thing is that when I reference the MinIO base image, that time you should not take the latest image, because the latest image they have some policy added, like they don't have the admin feature available, so that's why I'm picking some older image, okay. This is very important, otherwise you can't get the admin feature in the console, okay. So this is the important things, and you can pass some of the parameters, like MinIO username is root admin, and the password I put like password 123, okay. So after that the MinIO server should be run on this data directory. Basically it will store all this data here, and the console is available in 9001 port, okay. So after the last section, your data is mounted on this mount path, and it need one volume, okay. So that the volume I defined here, the volume name is this one, and it need the persistent volume, okay, PVC, whatever PVC I created in the last step, I just reference that PVC. So let me go ahead to create this file also. At a time I will create all this file, then I will create one service file, vi MinIO S3 file. You can see here I define the service name, which is basically referencing your MinIO deployment, that is using the selector, and after that I will expose two ports, okay. One is 9000, that is the API access, and one is console access, okay. We are not going to cover the API access, that is the 9000 in this series, so we will cover only today this 9001, that is the console access, okay. So it is a simple service that is like cluster IP, you cannot access outside the cluster, okay. So these 4 files we covered. So after that one ingress file is there, okay, that is this file, console, MinIO MinIO console ingress. And ingress, you can see we implemented, as we discussed in the initial stage, we implemented the MinIO S3 using TLS certificate, okay. So that is the HTTPS certificate, okay. So for the TLS you can mention here your host name, and whatever secret you created you need to pass the secret at here, okay. And the host name and this host name should be matched, and we are going to reference our UI part, so that's why I reference this 9001 service, okay. So let me go ahead to create this file also. At a time I can put all this file. the document I mentioned, one second, in the last phase of this document I created this one. 4 files you can invoke from this single command. You can see it will deploy all this manifest in the dev namespace. First PVC should be created, then deployment, then your service, then your ingress. Okay, so it will take some time to create all this. Let me check that one. Get all. So hopefully one MinIO pod should be created, one service, and service is type cluster IP, because we are going to expose this service using Ingress. Okay, so that's why I created the cluster IP, and deployment and replica set as usual. Okay, so let me check the Ingress. In Ingress you can see the host name is there. Okay, and this is HTTPS facility is there, so that's why the port number is like along with 80 443 port is exposed. Okay, so also you need to make entry here, etc host file. Once the ingress is exposed, so I'm going to invoke this UI from my window host, so that's why I need to update my window etc host file. Okay, so like we covered in many ingress tutorial, so you can see these are the steps. Go to your C window 32 driver etc host file, make an entry like this. Okay, so I picked this IP from my metal LB IP. Okay, so let me check this one. Okay, get namespace. I think my ingress is running. Let me check that IP. Your controller IP. Yeah, in the service you can see this controller service is running here. Okay, so very soon you will get this IP, like the IP address should be attached here, but it's not reflecting right now. It after some time it will be reflected here. Okay, so the same IP you need to add in the etc host file in the window. Okay, so I already added this whatever the ingress name, you can put the same name here. So let me jump to my window host. This is my window host. Let me access HTTPS your ingress name. Okay, whatever you added there. Let me check what is the ingress name. Yeah, this is the ingress name. Wait, it's not coming. HTTPS MinIO example. Yeah, you can put the HTTPS and advanced. Proceed. Okay, so it is a self-signed certificate, so that's why it is showing this warning message. Then here you need to put this admin as your password, sorry, admin as the username, and the password is whatever you put in the deployment time. The same password you can use here, password 123. Don't use like some like short name like admin something, it will not create the deployment. So now you can see this console is accessible from my window machine, and here like you have like lot of features available, like you can create the bucket, object bucket, create bucket. Suppose I want to use this bucket for the Docker image storage, so I created one bucket like images. They have a lot of features like versioning, object locking, quotas, how much space you want to, you can set the limit. Yeah, so this object bucket is created. So let me upload one file. Go to object browser. You can upload one file here, no issue. The upload features is here. Okay, so you can upload the file from here, from your window host. You can upload the file. Okay, so this is the things we'll cover in the next video. The CLI part, like the initially we discussed, we have access to the console. The next stage we'll cover this 9000 port access, how to use this MC client to invoke this feature from your the command line. Okay, instead of going to this GUI, you can directly perform all the feature from the command line, that is the MC client. Okay, so that thing we will cover in the next video. Thank you guys.